Welcome to another edition of Peoria Pulse. I'm Mayor Kathy Carlat. This morning it is just a little past sunrise and I am up on beautiful Sunrise Mountain in the heart of Peoria. In Peoria we are so blessed to have this precious open space, this Sonoran desert, right in our own backyards. I'm here today to talk about open space, to talk about protecting these unspoiled desert lands. I'm joined today by Director of Planning and Community Development, Chris Hawkes, for the City of Peoria. Chris, you've heard me talk about Sunrise Mountain many times and how I want to protect this beautiful desert. Can you tell me why this piece of land, privately owned and zoned for residential development, is ideal for protection?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are a number of things we look at when we look at what lands might merit special attention, and they include things like scenic qualities. I mean, some places enjoy higher scenic quality than others. I mean, some places have beautiful vistas where you can see areas, 360-degree views. We also look at access. Are these areas that our citizens can access? Some areas are more remote, as you know, but we want to be able to provide access to our citizens. Access always also plays into the question about development pressure. That's a very important consideration. If a property has higher accessibility and is closer to the core, I mean, there is a higher development pressure and demand for the land, so that's something we have to consider. The question about development pressure also plays into connectivity. Also, it's important that when we look at lands, we look for its opportunity to connect to other recreational sources or other preserves or wildlife corridors, so that we can create a system rather than disjointed areas of hillside. I think it's also important to understand, Peoria's got a very rich cultural and historic heritage. I think it's important to understand, does that quality exist on the place that you're considering? And then finally, it's important to understand the ownership structure of the land. Certainly when you're dealing with a private entity, the potential negotiations can be more direct. A lot of lands in Arizona are owned by public entities. For example, the State Land Department, they have a very specific mission. Their mission is to maximize the value of the land for their beneficiaries, but that can also come with an extended process and an auction. So it's very important to understand that organizational structure. So now back to your question about Sunrise Mountain. So if we look at Sunrise Mountain through all those variables, certainly, I mean, there's no question there are some amazing scenic qualities on this site. If we were to hike up to the top of Sunrise Mountain,
which we're going to do right after this.
Of course. I'm always ready for a good hike. But you can certainly see Lake Pleasant. You've got 360-degree views of the valley. You can see downtown Phoenix. You can see the rest of Peoria. Beautiful vistas up there. So no doubt about that. Also, connectivity. Well, this mountain happens to be adjacent to Peoria Preserve that we have on the other side of the mountain that we already enjoy. There's also properties in the area that have been zoned recently that when those properties develop, they will contribute additional open space to a larger preserve in the area. And that's important. So it provides a sense of connectivity. It also provides a connectivity for different recreational styles. If somebody wants to hike, or maybe they want to go to the top of the mountain for a nice picnic, or we have a number of equestrians in the area. So there's the opportunity to provide trailheads on site and those types of opportunities for different types of users. Development pressure.
So Chris, talk to me a little bit about private property ownership rights and land preservation. How do those two work together?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. And I think one of the important things to understand is that it's not open space preservation versus development. It's not one or the other. I think it's both. And we truly recognize that people have a right to develop their property. And with development becomes lifestyle choice, and it comes economic opportunity. We understand, we recognize that. But I think also as stewards of the land, we're all stewards of the land. I think we all have a collective responsibility to ensure that our cultural heritage remains intact, that we preserve some of the more scenic and beautiful areas in Arizona for future generations to enjoy and to educate and inform. I think that's a responsibility of all of us. And I think development can happen in a way that we're sensitive to the landscape, that's done in a logical, consistent manner. And I think it can be both. I don't think it's one or the other.
Well, and speaking about development pressure, and I know we are right in the heart of that right now, tell me how preserving and protecting our open space contributes to our economic development for now and for the long term.
Well, you know very well, as with the rest of the council, economic development is extremely important. It's one of our, the council's top priorities. The city as today is predominantly a bedroom community. We're trying to improve our economic base. Most people today out-commute for jobs, but we're also being very strategic about that. We're trying to attract certain types of industries, bioscience, higher education, medical, the so-called knowledge workers. And there's been a number of studies over the years that have concluded that these so-called knowledge workers are particularly attracted by the prospect of open space or recreational opportunities. But not just the knowledge workers. This is a variable I think that interests all of us.
Yes.
You have an opportunity to escape the city life.
It's a lifestyle, and
it is.
And it creates a unique environment, a quality of life that other cities, that not every city has.
That's right. That's right.
Especially the cities that have not been able to protect their open space.
That's right.
So that quality of life is going to bring us trails and opportunities for parks, equestrian amenities, biking, hiking, all different kinds of quality of life issues that are going to make our city unique.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being with me today.
You
I
bet.
appreciate you getting up early and climbing
Of course,
halfway
always.
up Sunrise Mountain with me.
Yeah, let's go hike it now.
Yeah, all right.